Everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So some information has surfaced this week in regard to Donald Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani. First, Manhattan federal prosecutors were blocked by Trump's administration when they attempted to obtain search warrants related to Giuliani. Here's the deal with this news. As you probably know, Giuliani is the subject of many ongoing lawsuits at this point, one of which was related to Trump's infamous call with Ukraine and how Giuliani may have played a role in pressuring and or bribing Ukrainian officials to dig up or fabricate dirt on Joe Biden and his son, who was then a candidate. So Manhattan prosecutors were obliged to notify the Department of Justice that they had plans to seek a search warrant for Giuliani's electronic records. And that's because of rules surrounding confidential communications with clients, because Giuliani is an attorney. And especially because he has high-profile clients, including Donald Trump, who was then president. So apparently when they notified them that they wanted the search warrant, sources with inside knowledge regarding this investigation confided to reporters now that senior Department of Justice officials slowed the Manhattan investigation by blocking that search warrant. So these senior officials claim that it was because of the upcoming election. There's this long-standing unofficial rule about not influencing the outcome of an election. So you don't want to announce that there's any investigations going on or raise any suspicions about an investigation. However, this inside source with the investigation alleges that this warrant was sought in the summer of last year. So the summer of 2020, which was months before that 60-day window of that unwritten rule about not influencing the election. They then made a second request after the election was over. And then once again, their request was refused. So the DOJ officials then told them, we can't allow you to get that warrant because Trump is still contesting the election and Giuliani is leading his legal team in that effort. The DOJ also suggested that they should just wait until Biden took office to obtain the warrant. Now, mind you, at the same time that this is happening and they're saying, no, Trump is still fighting the election outcome. We can't allow you to have that search warrant. At that same time, federal prosecutors in Delaware sought and received authorization to subpoena Hunter Biden's tax records. So they could get Joe Biden's son's tax records for that investigation, but they couldn't get a subpoena on Giuliani, who's just an attorney for Trump, Giuliani's not involved directly with the election. I mean, and how would Trump's legal battle over the election be relevant anyway? The election was over. It's not as if we were going to be voting again. So that's the first piece of Giuliani news. The second one is actually tied to this. So now that Trump is out of office and Ukraine no longer has to worry about maintaining a relationship with him, they're just spilling all the tea about Giuliani and his pressure campaign to gather that dirt on Biden. So several days ago, they released a transcript of a 40-minute phone call between Giuliani and the Ukrainian president's top aides. That call took place in 2019, and it was just 3 days before Trump's infamous call with the Ukrainian president, Zelensky. That is the call that resulted in Trump's first impeachment. Igor Novikov, I believe is how you pronounce his name, he is a close advisor to Ukraine's president. He had this to say about that communication with Giuliani, about that call. Quote, "That first phone call left me in a state of shock. Without a shadow of a doubt, I knew that we were in grave danger." So Novikov says that he's now willing to assist prosecutors in their cases against Giuliani, and he would be willing to help in the effort to strip Giuliani of his license to practice law, which is something else that's underway right now. And Ukrainian officials say that they're not doing this out of spite. They're just trying to repair the relationship with America because they feel that it was damaged with Trump in office, because they wouldn't bend to his will. They wouldn't do what he wanted. He wanted them to go out and make a public statement saying that they were launching an investigation into Biden so that it would hurt Biden's chances in the election, and they wouldn't do it. And Novikov stated that he's willing to help because, quote, "I believe Mayor Giuliani's actions in Ukraine threatened our national security. It is our responsibility to make sure that any effort to drag our country into our allies' domestic politics does not go unpunished." Of course, he's saying that because Trump was holding up aid. That was kind of what the quid pro quo was about in Trump's first impeachment trial, was that they believed, Ukrainian officials believed, and Democrats contend that Trump was holding up the aid to their country that they needed to fight Russia, who was trying to literally come in and take over their country and had already taken over a portion of it. They believe that Trump was withholding that financial aid and weapons and so forth because they weren't helping him to harm Biden and undermine his chances of winning election. In addition to all of this, a Ukrainian lawmaker named Alexander Dubinsky was kicked out of Zelensky's presidential party for aiding Giuliani in his quest to locate and disseminate negative information about the Bidens. Giuliani needs to face some sort of consequences for his actions. I mean, over the last 4 years, he's done so much to harm our country. You know, he's obviously willing to sell out our country for money, and he owes a lot of money, according to news reports. He is definitely in debt, and he's panicked, and he's desperate, and that's a danger to our national security, especially with his connections. But as always, thanks so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk with you soon. Take care.